Hi, it's James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to look at the 1 to 8 player game Metro X, published by Game Right Games. This is going to be a flip and write game here where you're going to be trying to complete your tracks to gain the most points by the end of the game. Let's go ahead down the table here, and I'm going to show you how to play Metro X. This is Metro X. In Metro X, you're going to compete against your opponents by traveling through as many subway stations as possible, using a finite number of movements, visit the most stops, score the most points to win the game. So setup for the game is pretty simple here. You're going to give each player one of these cards here, so they're going to know how they're going to be able to score throughout the game. And this will also give you like a little overview of the different cards. And you're going to shuffle up this deck of cards. You're going to give each player a dry erase board here and a dry erase marker. Now there's two sides to this board here. So you could pick which side you want to start the game with. You want it a little bit more complicated, you go this side. Otherwise you want it all straightforward, you go with this side of the board here. But everyone should be on the same side of the board playing this game here. These are your train cards that you're going to be using throughout the game, and these are going to be the routes you're trying to take to complete your routes. So for example, if we follow this blue route here, this blue route will end here. So we're going to try to finish that route, or any of the routes, but that's how the routes end on the game. All right, so the main way you're going to try to get points in this game is you're going to be trying to be the first to complete this route. If you're going to be the first to complete the route, you're going to receive the gold diamond bonus. So if I finish the pink route, I'm going to get these 7 points right here. If I'm the second one, I'll get everyone else will basically get 5. If there's a tie, meaning it happens at the same round there, both players will get the yellow if they're both the first to do it. So that's fine. So it's friendly ties in the game. The way this is going to work is the game's going to go until you finish all your train cars here. And this could be different for each player, but it's generally going to be the same time for everybody. And you are going to flip this card. So we flip this card and everyone gets to use the same card. So this is a 5. I know it's blue, but you don't have to pick blue. You're going to pick one of your train cars. So let's say 5 is pretty large. I want to actually do one of my smaller ones because they're harder to finish here. And I will cross off 5 of these. All right. And then we'll keep going. So the next card will flip over here. And this one's a 4. Well, how do I want to do this 4? Well, I'll go ahead and place this 4 on this one. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. So the trick to this game, just so you know, is you don't really have enough of a lot of these to actually finish the route. But you'll notice that like red and orange are combined. So you're going to want to work this out so that you're going to be able to finish these routes without, with the limited number of slots that you have. So in this case, red and orange can piggyback a little bit, and then red comes down through here, so it could piggyback. But there's going to be a thing. So one of the things that's important for this game is you're going to mark these down. So I had this 5 here, but I would have stopped if I ran into another X. So that's going to be a problem that I'm going to show you here in a little bit that gets resolved in one of the cards, but you can't always guarantee that that's the card you're going to get because there's going to be a point where this deck gets reshuffled. So we'll go ahead and flip over the next card here, and it's a skip 2. So that one's going to be important. We're going to cheat here, and I'm just going to show you. Let's say this spot here was filled in, okay? And we're going to put the 2 on the orange. So I would typically only be able to cross out 1 because I run into this X here. However, with the skip, I can then skip this spot and fill in my last number there, so I'll have my 2 down. So that's why these skips, which is the second type of card that I showed you here, we're going to be a couple more here, but this is super important because it lets you go over those cross spots, except for instead of being stopped there. So if I put another one here, there's a 3. Let's show you a couple other ones here. Let's go in. There's a transfer one. So what does the transfer do? So the transfer is going to let you pick a junction. So fill in an empty train car window with an X. So I'm going to pick one of these and put an X in the spot. And on the subway route, find an empty station space from the start point and fill it in with a number equal to twice the number of train lines that makes a stop there. So let's say I'm going to put an X in this one. So if I pick this spot here, there's 2 train lines coming in, so that'll be a 4. And I'm going to gain these points at the end of the game, so I'll get 4 points for that little spot at the end of the game. All right, and there's another card in here too. We have, find it here, a free space. So the free space card here, you just get to pick anywhere you want and put an X. But you don't have to cross off any train cars. So let's say, orange is going to, I'm just going to throw another X in there to help out orange. All right, so there is this 6 here. So when the 6 gets flipped, you're going to reshuffle the deck after everyone has picked their 6 train and moved their 6 slots there. And that means that some of these skips and stuff you may not see as often as you think you would, or would hope that you would. So you can't always count on those. All right, so a couple other notes. You may always choose to cross off fewer stations than the number shown on the transit card. I'm not sure why you would do that, but you can. However, you must always fill in the train car, no matter what. In the rare case that all stations on the route are filled in, but it has an empty train car window, you may still write an X in the train car window and ignore that station. So keep in mind that that's, I don't know, that's probably never going to happen. But if it did, you could do that. Now, ending the game. The game's going to end when you fill out all of your box cars here. So once that's all filled out, the game's going to end. You're going to add up the total points from all completed routes. So these are going to be your the ones where you got either gold or the secondary scoring for it. Add up your score from all your transfers, so the things that you wrote down there. So I got that 4 from that. Unless you are incredibly lucky, it is impossible to complete all the subway routes. Tally up the number of empty stations left on your board and enter that in the small circle. So that'd be so you get your completed. So however many you completed, you get your points from there. You'll mark it here. You're going to get your transfers. So however many of these you got here. Then you're going to take your total number of empties. And so I had empty routes. So I didn't finish 2 of them. So it'd be like a -2. And then I get my total here. So the empty here, so I do apologize. Not if I'm missing 2, I get 2. You're going to look on here. So if I have 0 to 4 empty stations, I'm going to get 0 points. If I have 5 empty stations, I'm going to get -1 point. If I get 6, -2, 7, -3, 8 through 9, 4, and so on this chart here. So let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on Metro X. All right, so that was Metro X. Component quality for this is great. I think this is a phenomenal component quality for a roll and write game, mainly because you don't have to laminate any cards. These are amazingly easy to wipe off and keep playing. So I really appreciate that a lot. And the markers are good quality too, but like I said, the boards are great. The gameplay for this game is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun trying to figure out how to complete as many routes as possible. Now, I will say that this game is really a solo game. Even if you're playing with other players, you're all playing your own game. There is no player interaction, but that's okay. With that said, this game really shines if it just as a solo game. You can just pop this out and play anytime and try to maximize your points to become better and better at this game. It's fine multiplayer. Really, like I said, it's just a solo experience. So if other people want to play, great. If not, doesn't matter. You could play this with a large game group, so you could play up to 8 players, which is really cool. Overall, if you like flip and write or roll and write games, this is a pretty unique game. I haven't seen too many like this in the way that it deals with the tracks here and having to try to figure out how to skip and all sorts of fun stuff with this. So I really like this game. This game is going to see a lot of play. I think that if you like roll and write games or flip and write games, that you definitely want to check this out. And that's Metro X and my thoughts on it. Thank you for watching.